Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very 50th episode of Cooldown Timer, because just like Windows 10, we can skip a few versions in episodes too. I am Neefu, and with me today I am joined by Zingles Artman.
Howdy doody, everybody.
And from the freezing wastelands of Alaska, Mark Hamilton.
That's right. As crackly as ever.
It's been a while, guys. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah, it's good. It's finally that time of year where the sun starts to die and our minds turn to video games.
No, you mentioned this a minute ago, and I just realized that we are 2 days away from the 2-year anniversary of when ZAM and I first started this podcast. So there's just probably something about this time of year that gets us in the mood to cast our voices into the
Well, you know, it's
ether.
Halloween. The borders between worlds become thin. And, we can escape out of our summer prison. Wreak havoc across the interwebs once more.
Well, so I've been experimenting with some little video things over the course of the last week, but I forgot, as I was doing one of them, that we record this on Wednesday, so we're not actually going to be able to talk about all the little news topics that I discovered and came across over the week. So me now, I don't know what happened on Thursday and Friday of this last week. So if something big came up, you'll have to excuse us. We'll talk.
You know,
about it
if
next
Half-Life
week.
3 is announced on Thursday, I'm sorry, we're not covering it yet.
Nope, not till next week.
I hope it is announced tomorrow.
It won't be. So this week, 343 Industries, or whatever the name of that company is, announced that Halo 5 has gone gold. And I realized something. One, that I really don't care all that much about Halo. But two, it's weirdly comforting to know that there are still Halo games being made.
I know what you mean.
I know, right?
I mean, that there will always be Halo games being made, but
It's like, okay, like there are things. It's okay, you know. The world may be just chaos, but there's another Halo game being made, and there's a new Star Wars movie coming out.
I remember when Halo first came out, I was at the mall Christmas shopping with my family, and I was at a GameStop, and they had Halo, but I didn't know it was Halo. It was just a game, and it said Combat Evolved on it, and I'm like, whoa, I like combat. What's Combat Evolved?
it was a generic first-person shooterness.
Well, you know,
I'm not a huge Halo fan. I enjoyed it at times. I had fun with it at parties and stuff. It's just not my thing, so I always give it a hard time. Though I like the Master Chief's armor, but you know.
what do you like about it?
It
You
looks
like the armor
cool.
nitpicker.
It just looks cool. I like
You like
it.
that he has a sun visor to keep the sun out
Actually,
of his
I
eye?
don't like the sun visor, even though it's practical.
Is it though?
I mean, he's got tinted goggles. Does he need a sun visor?
Zam and I recently played through. He played Metal Gear Solid 5, and
Meh.
that game.
No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty good.
That game is wonderfully fun. And I don't know, I think the thing that everybody seems to either love or hate is the mechanic you use to amass an army on your top secret base in the middle of the ocean.
You are the world's most terrifying kidnapper. That's what you are. That's what you play in that game. You take people from their home and in a very traumatic way take them back to a base and force them to fight for you.
Well, you don't
With
force
like
them
what?
to fight for you.
With like slave
Balloons.
nanobots or something?
Balloons.
Neefu, if you were strapped to a balloon, shot through the world to a platform in the middle of the ocean where everyone.
Okay. So technically, if I understand correctly, the Fulton system works. The balloon launches them up, and then a helicopter has to go by and grab them. Or
I like the idea
plane.
of them just hurtling through the air, attached by their belt for miles.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone here. I have not played any Metal Gear game, actually. And I just need to ask, did these people know this was going to happen to them?
No, you knocked them out.
Wait. Can we show him a clip of someone getting full? Because I remember the first time I saw it. It's shocking.
Let me unwrap this. You knock people out.
Yes.
You strap a balloon device to them that sends them careening into the stratosphere. And then a helicopter hooks them and takes them to an ocean base?
You can also upgrade it so that it grabs animals, children, and tanks.
You know, when you say it like that, it sounds kind of crazy.
And these people fight for you then?
After they hang out in the brig for a while.
Wouldn't you, if you were taken from your home, just hurtle through the air and then stuck in prison for a while?
I guess sort of spoiler alert, but once you upgrade the system to its highest ability, it skips the balloon and the airplane and just sucks people straight through a wormhole.
And this is a good thing?
Well, yeah, because then enemies can't pop the balloon. If they pop the balloon, then the people drop back on the ground and you have to knock them out and launch them back into the sky again.
So wait, were you serious when you said, I believe you're serious when you said you could also attach it to tanks and animals. Were you serious about children?
And children. There is an upgrade you have to get in order to get children.
You know what's great,
Could
Mark?
you populate your sea base with kidnapped child soldiers?
Wait, has he seen a clip of the Fulton yet?
I sent him a link.
Watch that really quick.
I'm watching a video. There, a man, I assume it's Snake, is on a horse. It's a majestic beast. Is he summoning a dog? What did he put a balloon on the horse? Ah! Okay.
At about 2:10, he does it to a sheep.
It's not like a gentle waft into the air. When I say careening, I mean it.
That horse is dead.
No, and that's
that horse has air bends.
The great thing is that there's someone who's just like, oh yeah, some animal activists are like concerned about the animals in these combat zones, so Fulton them out of there. Just ruin these animals' lives.
And it like lifts them up a foot off the ground, then pauses so you can see the terror in your horse's eyes before they're just gone.
And your
stratosphere.
Your horse, every time you take him on a mission, at the end of the mission, he gets Fultoned out. And every time he makes the same terrified scream.
That poor horse. Oh my god.
Now, Mark, here's the thing. When you Fulton people, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you will retrieve them.
Yeah, it might be a blustery day outside.
If there's a sandstorm going on or it's rainy, there is a chance that they could just be lost in the sky, floating up there
no
forever.
One can hear you scream because you're on a balloon.
No, whenever that would happen to me, it's like, I'm sorry, Snake, but your Fulton thingy was unsuccessful. I could just always imagine the people just eventually waking up in the sky, floating somewhere hundreds of feet above the ocean or
that
the
balloon
desert.
Won't last for. It's going to pop.
Yep.
So
anyway,
other than that,
How's the game?
It's good. The AI in it is really fantastic. I think that's probably one of my favorite things about it.
Is this kind of nonsense typical of a Metal Gear Solid game?
Mark, to the best of my understanding, Metal Gear Solid 5 is the most serious of all the games. But, okay.
Minor spoiler for the very beginning of the game, but this is the most serious game, and in the first 10 minutes, you're running from a flaming unicorn that's flying through the air.
It's pretty dramatic when it actually happens.
Yeah, I know. When you say it on paper, it sounds terrible, but it was actually pretty awesome.
Why do I get the horrifying feeling that unicorn is not hyperbole in this?
No,
it's,
a literal
it's a
unicorn.
Horse that has like the unicorn horn is just fire.
And it has flaming wings, too. And it's
Is the horse like a robot?
No. But it's mounted by a man that's on fire as well.
I thought Metal Gear Solid was like hiding from cameras and sneaking into bases and stuff.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid is that with a story of absolute extremes. I guess the stories tend to be these super over-dramatic things, and pretty much every character except Snake just has weird quirks to them. Like Zam, you know Ocelot in 5? In Metal Gear Solid 3, he's this like super flamboyant gunslinger who meows. Like,
he is an ocelot.
Meow! He literally has a scene where he just meows.
Like that?
Yes.
You just sounded like an 80s villain.
Mark. It's very in a lot of ways it is very like 80s, like everyone has mullets and everything. And
Mark, in Metal Gear Solid 3, which is the first one chronologically, he has to fight a guy who shoots bees at him.
A bee weapon.
A cosmonaut that now has a flamethrower and like is just covered in flames.
And has a unicorn?
There was another one that was like a frog man that was basically almost like Toad, but in Metal Gear Solid.
Isn't there a boss that you have to fight by like unplugging the controller and plugging it in?
That's in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Right, okay.
And then there's also a boss that you either there's only two ways to beat him. You either have to allow your character to drown and die, or walk down a very long river very, very slowly, passing by the ghosts of every other character that you've killed up to that point in the game. And this is like 80% through with the game.
And you can kill the final boss in one of the games by just resetting the clock for like, I think it's like 50 years or something like that in the future, and he dies of old age.
Well, the ghost
They're very Japanese.
Sensible. I have not played any of the Metal Gear games, so I can't judge.
Did I mention that there's clones as well?
Obviously, it's a very creative series.
That's a really good way to put it.
I just thought it would be more about shooting dudes and
You thought it was Splinter Cell.
No, and that's the thing that I actually experienced when I first played my first one. It was like, so I popped open 3, and I'm like, okay, I'm expecting this one thing in my mind based off of like screenshots and pictures, not that they're different, and videos of just like gameplay and stuff. And then I play it, and I'm like, what is this chaotic cacophony of I had it too. Chaotic cacophony of contrasting conclusions. I don't know. It was just this like, I found it to be very messy, but then I stepped back. I was like, okay, I'm going to try this thing again. I watched that trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4 where Snake was pretending to be Sam Fisher, and I thought that was hilarious. Maybe I just didn't realize that trailer actually was, representative of the tone of the franchise. And
you thought it was a joke trailer.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke trailer. Who knew that the
And you found a joke franchise.
Well, no, but that's the thing, though. So I walked into the third one. Again, I re-walked into it with a much better idea of what to expect. Okay, kind of silly, over-dramatic. And then the ending came around, and it just, like, turned everything back on its head and was one of the most, like, philosophically poignant video game bits that I have experienced ever.
They're interesting games.
Like, the way that the plot just, I mean, it was a messy plot. The whole Metal Gear plot is a messy plot. But the ideas that he was playing with at the end, that Kojima was playing with at the end of 3 were like, wow, there's a lot of really interesting ideas there that are really applicable to real world politics. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about it because...
Play the game, find out yourself.
Because playing that chaotic just mess and then getting to the end and realizing what it was all about, I don't know. I thought it was satisfying.
Well, it is though. They're extremes. So like you can be anywhere on the spectrum, but it's going to be the extreme version of that.
Yeah.
There is some really funny stuff, really adorable stuff, really just. There is a line, and I've not laughed that hard at a video game in a long time. It's a guy who I guess is like known for wearing sunglasses, and when you rescue him, he goes, "Snake, it's just so bright out," and then you give him the sunglasses, and it was just so cheesy. I was dying laughing. And it's like this super dramatic scene with like this swelling sad music. And he just wants his sunglasses. I thought it was like a metaphor, like it's just so bright out or something, but no, he just wanted sunglasses.
Oh, quickly returning back to the Fulton for a second. In the previous game, you also have access to the Fulton system. And so when you attach it to enemies that you're kidnapping, I guess, they'll like scream in fear as they get launched up. But if you attach it to prisoners, when they get launched up, they do this like excited, like, you know, roller coastery scream where they're happy and, you know, whatever.
Until their spine is snapped in half by the torque of being ripped up by their belt. And
then you get to the story sequences where he uses the Fulton system on like primary characters. And it becomes this running joke of sorts because he's like super deep in the forest and he's not able to carry these people out, but he needs to get them safely back to his base. And in one case, he's like, "Have you ever wanted to fly?" The person's like, what? No. And he just straps it on him, and you just hear them screaming as they launch into the sky. And then when he meets up with them later, they're like super pissed with him.
They need to add a patch where Snake can just Fulton himself back to the base.
Wait. Okay, the balloon thing's ridiculous, but all right. It's a way of getting things back to your ocean base. Fine. But he doesn't even use it himself?
No, he doesn't want to be snapped in half like Batman.
He has to call in a helicopter playing.
He calls in a freaking helicopter when his helicopter
that is playing in "Take on Me" or recording of somebody in the toilet having major diarrhea. I am not kidding.
You have to be kidding, but your voice is so serious.
No, he's not kidding. You can put speakers on your helicopter.
And you could play any of the in-game... Well, actually, you can add your own soundtrack, too. But there is a tape that you get in-game of someone having major diarrhea. And the primary use for it is if you hide in a toilet, people will come... Like, enemies, if they saw you go in there, they'll come check on the toilet and see you in there. But... if you're in the toilet, you could play the sound of someone going diarrhea over the speakers, and they'll leave you alone in the bathroom, allowing it to go back to normal, so you can bop them in the head again later.
Doesn't even use his own balloon system. My God, it's perfectly safe. All right.
No.
Well, how are you getting back to base? Oh, I'm not taking those balloons.
I'm taking a damn helicopter. Scared of heights. You're going to be way up there.
I mean, did you see that thing go?
Seriously, you're going to be snapped in half. We have 3 registered chiropractors on the base.
I have to wait like a week between missions because that's how long it takes my horse to stop trembling.
I don't know how your play style is, Neefu, but when I was playing, I was a terrible person because this was my play style. All right, scan that guy. Oh, cool. He's got some skill I need. I'm going to knock him out and just, ruin his life. And then I go up to another guy and I'm like, oh, this guy's worthless. Well, I can't leave the body around, or I can't risk him waking up, so guess he's gonna die. Stab him in the neck.
No, I just Fultoned everybody until I was out of Fulton things, but once you get near the end of the game, you get like 48 of them or something.
Good
so
Lord.
What are you doing with all these people?
Mark,
right?
It's not just people. It's people, artillery, mortars,
that
tanks,
is artillery.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know what the words are.
All those things you named, you know what? Stick a giant balloon on an artillery piece, send it into the stratosphere, catch it with a helicopter, bring it back to your base. That's ingenious. But it's also made of metal. And it doesn't have thoughts or feelings.
Don't you need like 4 to pick up tanks? I didn't get very far before I kind of stopped playing it.
Well, you just upgrade it to the point where it's able to pick up tanks and shipping containers, and then you can get, if you knock out a bunch of people and then put them in a Jeep and then Fulton the Jeep, you can get 3 for the price of 1.
That's amazing. Wait, hold on. So, does it say in the game that they're picked up by a helicopter?
That's just how the Fulton system in real life works.
In real life, I really hope this doesn't exist.
It does exist, but not to that. It's a heavily fictionalized version of it.
Right.
Like, you remember in what? It was Batman, The Dark Knight? He uses it at the beginning of The Dark Knight.
Well, it's
gosh,
more like
I don't remember.
Skyhook.
Yeah,
Than a
that's what the
balloon.
Fulton system is.
That's fine. And like I said,
I think.
if you were like moving tanks and other inanimate objects around, that just seems clever. How creative, Let's put balloons on it. But people kidnapping people
And children.
and children and animals.
That's like, children is one of the last upgrades you can get for it. Animals, I think you can get those.
Why do you
pretty
need
early
an
on,
upgrade to get kids to keep from snapping their little necks?
Honestly,
pretty much.
probably. No, but here's my thing.
I shot a bear with a tranquilizer shotgun and got him too.
Well, that's amusing.
There's just a bear running around on your base.
That's just
Well, there's
hilarious,
a zoo on
actually.
your base.
Good Lord. I don't ever
There's a
fault
zoo.
the animals.
Why does he have a zoo?
Because of the NGO. The NGO is like, get these animals out of the war zone.
In the
They're
most inhumane
"Hey,
way
hey."
humanly possible, please. We want them to be terrified of man. And the sky, if possible. What happens if you climb on top of a truck and Fulton it?
I've heard that if you get on the containers, you can Fulton up with this thing. But I never was able to successfully do it. I always slipped off.
Slippery.
I just want to see, like just the gameplay, like Snake just like, oh, all right, attaches a Fulton to his own belt and just hurtles through this freaking air.
Whoa! Snake away!
In Peace Walker, the game that came before this, in some of the side missions, you didn't necessarily have to play as Snake, but whoever you played as, you get to the end and he or she does Fulton themselves up.
And it makes sense in a lot of places for Snake because, like, a lot of times it's like, I'm in this combat zone, or like that time where you're fighting or you're hiding from the Metal Gear, like, and you have to get to the helicopter, and it's just like, okay, giant mech can see me pretty much anywhere, can't get to the helicopter. I have 27 Fultons in my bag. I'll just Fulton myself from behind this rock. He won't notice until I'm too far away.
Well, that's the thing, though. If he sees you while you're hovering a couple feet above the earth, then he can pop the balloon.
Just put another one on. You got 27.
You know what I think would be amazing? I think it'd be amazing to have a video game, kind of like Metal Gear Solid, where at one point you get a jetpack, like an experimental jetpack. and you turn it on, and it sends you flying just as fast as that balloon goes, straight into the air. And it's just always that speed.
It's the boots of blinding speed.
I know Dark Void tried to do jetpack, but if I remember correctly, it didn't do jetpack well.
Well, I'm sure it was trying to do reasonable jetpack. I'm talking about a jetpack that's only there to troll the player into trying to use it without slamming into a mountain.
World of Warcraft has this item. I don't remember what it's called. No, this is a great item. And it's this imp that you can summon, and he'll just do something random for you. Sometimes it'll just be a shop. Sometimes it'll be like a thing to change what your gear looks like. Sometimes, and most of the time, he's just like, well, we need to get out of here. I'm going to take you somewhere safe. And the answer that you can say to him is like, oh, sure, I trust a demon to send me somewhere safe. And he just teleports you somewhere random. And I mean, sometimes it'll be in like the main hub. Sometimes it'll be 2 miles above one of the outskirts of like the Outlands or something like that. And you just plummet to your death.
Sounds like when you would attack Shigagorath in...
That was a great little
Shining Isles?
Shivering
Isles.
Because it teleports you like a mile above the Shivering Isles.
I always heard that if you found where you fall, there's like tons of treasure there, but I never found it.
No, I've been there once. It's hard to get to because you kind of have to make your way down a cliff. But there's a bunch of dead bodies there. So it's obviously not the first time it's happened.
Their Fultons all popped. Well,
and on that uplifting because of Fultons.
That's what it was. That's what the phrase was.
Uplifting. You know, folks, it's great to be back doing Cooldown Timer for you. We're on our 50th episode. We're looking forward to 50 more coming at you every week. Tell your friends.
Until next summer when we just stop without any notice at all.
Well, you know.
Summers suck.
Our fans are used to this kind of abuse.
It's true. I was kind of imagining that we'd call this season 3. We had a shorter season 2, but we're starting season 3.
The reason we were gone for so long is that Cooldown Timer was Fultoned away and got lost in the wind. We just now found it.
I'm gonna go with the theory that we were bound by mystic runes and just managed to break forth.
Yeah, sounds good. On that mystic runic note, we have come to the end of episode 50 of Cooldown Timer. Knowing that you've gotten here, you've probably found the podcast, but we're probably going to be changing some stuff up about where they're hosted, things like that. But either way, you should still be able. Well, you will be able to find everything you need on CooldownTimer.com. Boom.
Cooldown Timer, yeah.